Up next on our discussion of self is the concept of self-esteem. Self-esteem refers to the judgments and the evaluations that we make about our self-concept. So more specifically, this is an evaluation of the self, and we are labeling ourselves as good or bad, positive or negative, and desirable or undesirable. And generally speaking, some people are more likely to evaluate themselves positively, while others are more likely to evaluate themselves negatively. It all goes back to the ideas that we talked about with the personality traits and the looking glass self and all of that. Now, in addition to self-esteem, we have this concept of self-efficacy. Self-efficacy refers to the judgments that we make about our ability to perform a task within a specific context. And so judgments about our self-efficacy influence our self-esteem, which then influences our self-concept. So it's this chain, right? If we see ourselves as being able to perform a task, then that can increase our self-esteem, which then adds to our self-concept. And it's also true that both verbal and nonverbal feedback that we get from other people can affect our feelings about our self-efficacy as well as our self-esteem. So for example, being given positive feedback from others can increase our self-efficacy, our judgment about how well we can perform something, which then has an impact to make us more likely to engage in that task in the future. And we see ourselves as being good at that particular task, which then can add to our self-concept. If, on the other hand, we are given negative feedback about something, this can lead to a decreased self-efficacy, as well as a declining interest in ever doing that activity again, which then can have a negative impact on our self-esteem because we see ourselves as being bad at something, which then can have a negative impact on our self-concept when we see ourselves as not being good enough, or that we can't do it, or that we aren't perfect, and all of those sorts of things. So, as you can see, self-efficacy and self-esteem have a really important impact on our self-concept, and the feedback that we get from others also has a really important impact on how we see ourselves.